In the sprawling, neon-drenched metropolis of Neo-Viridia, data was the new gold. And the most powerful man in the city, Marcus Thorne, owned the mine. His corporation, Omnicorp, had its digital tendrils wrapped around every aspect of daily life. From the smart fridges that ordered your groceries to the autonomous vehicles that ferried you through the ski lanes, everything fed into Omnicorp's colossal data servers. Thorne wasn't just a CEO, he was a digital pharaoh, and the city was his kingdom. But in the shadowed alleys of the data stream, a rebellion was brewing. His name was Elias Vance, a ghost in the machine. Once a rising star at Omnicorp, Elias had seen the dark underbelly of Thorne's empire. He witnessed how personal data wasn't just collected but weaponized, used to manipulate markets, ruin lives, and silence dissent. Disgusted, Elias vanished. He erased his digital footprint, becoming a phantom that haunted the archives of his former employer. For years, he lived off the grid, a whisper in the code, planning his countermove. He knew he couldn't fight Thorne's brute force with more force. He had to be smarter. He needed to create something that could give the power of invisibility back to the people. Working from a makeshift lab hidden in the forgotten sublevels of the city, Elias began to code. His sanctuary was a chaotic symphony of salvaged servers, tangled wires, and glowing monitors, all powered by rerouted city energy. Fueled by stale coffee and a burning desire for justice, he poured years of his life into a single, elegant piece of code. He called it the Ghost Protocol. It wasn't just a program, it was a digital skeleton key. Once activated, it wouldn't just encrypt data, it would make it cease to exist for any unauthorized observer. It would sever Omnicorp's tendrils, creating true digital anonymity. A person could walk through the city's data-rich environment and leave no trace, no signature, no echo. They would be a ghost. The final lines of code fell into place like a perfect puzzle. With a deep breath, Elias compiled the program. A single, shimmering string of data pulsed on his main screen. It was beautiful, dangerous, and it was alive. He knew he couldn't just unleash it. A weapon this powerful needed a controlled release, a demonstration to show the world what was at stake. So, he chose a targeter, small, seemingly insignificant data transfer between two Omnicorp subsidiaries. It was a test, a digital whisper to see if anyone was listening. He activated the Ghost Protocol for a mere 3 seconds, shrouding the data packet in absolute anonymity before letting it reappear on the network. It was like a magician's sleight of hand. Now you see it, now you don't. Back in the sterile, ice-cold headquarters of Omnicorp, alarms blared. A red light flashed on the central monitoring console in Marcus Thorne's security hub. A 3-second data anomaly. To most, it would be a glitch, a rounding error in a sea of petabytes. But Thorne's chief of security, a ruthless ex-military cyber analyst named Kalan, knew better. There were no glitches in Thorne's perfect system. She replayed the event log, her eyes narrowing. The data packet hadn't just been rerouted or encrypted, it had vanished. It blinked out of existence and then blinked back in, completely clean, as if it had passed through another dimension. Kalan had never seen anything like it. It was elegant, flawless, and terrifying. She ran deep-level diagnostics, peeling back layers of the network's architecture. There, buried deep within the residual code, was the faintest trace of a signature. It was almost nothing, a single, unique strand of binary that was unlike any known virus or intrusion software. It was a digital fingerprint left behind by the architect. This was no random hacker. This was a master. Marcus Thorne stood behind Kalan, his reflection a cold mask in the dark screen. "What have you found?" he asked, his voice low and dangerous. "A ghost," Kalan replied, without looking away from the monitor. "But this ghost left a calling card. It's heavily fragmented, almost impossible to trace. But almost isn't impossible. She immediately mobilized her team, the best digital hunters money could buy. They were the wolves of the net, and they had a scent. They began the painstaking process of reassembling the fragmented signature, pulling together microscopic data shards from a dozen different servers across the global network. For days they worked relentlessly, the hum of the servers a constant drone. The digital fingerprint was a puzzle, and each piece they found led them closer to their quarry. They tracked its faint echo from a server in Tokyo to a relay in Berlin and back to a substation right here in Neo-Veridia. Finally, Kalon slammed her fist on the console. Got it. A map of the city materialized on the main screen. A red dot pulsing over a sprawling, lower-class residential district known as the Warrens. The signal wasn't precise enough to pinpoint a single apartment, but it narrowed the search to a 6-block radius. The ghost had a home. The Warrens, Thorne mused, a cruel smile playing on his lips. How fitting. A rat hiding in a sewer. He turned to Kalon. I don't want him brought in for questioning. I want the algorithm. Deploy your team. Sweep the entire sector. Turn every apartment upside down. Find the source. Find my ghost. Down in the Warrens, an old notification alert blinked on one of Elias's secondary monitors. It was a silent tripwire he'd planted deep within Omnicorp's internal security network. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, but it told him everything he needed to know. Someone was pulling on the thread he had left behind. They were hunting him. He looked at the main screen, where the Ghost Protocol lay dormant, a sleeping giant. The test was over. The real battle was about to begin. He grabbed a worn backpack, slinging it over his shoulder as he initiated a system wipe, turning his sanctuary into a digital graveyard. The wolves were at the door, but this ghost was already on the move. He slipped out into the rain-slicked streets of the Warrens. Just another face in the crowd, a phantom preparing for war. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of the Ghost Protocol, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what you think Elias should do next. See you in the next video.